What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm going to highlight 3 decks using all 4 of the new champions coming out in a Curious Journey, the newest Legends of Runeterra expansion dropping. And up first, I have Gnar. So this is kind of like a take on Sejuani and Gangplank, but I'm adding Gnar here. He feels pretty good into this package. He's got, the ability to transform and transform down as well with damaging the enemy nexus. That kind of fits in perfectly with this package anyway. I'm really trying to highlight the shamans in this list, though. The new shamans of Merkwolf and Mammoth both have very interesting synergies as well with damaging the nexus. It's kind of like a anti-plunder or a reverse plunder where you don't have to play them after you damage the nexus. You can actually play them, do your turn, and as long as you damage the nexus that turn, they'll then transform. So this is nothing to do with Bandle City, so we're not using any of the cool new cards Gnar got from that side of things, but we are using all of the new Freljord cards that kind of go semi with that Udyr package that came out. This is really utilizing the ability to just make sure we level up our champions. We're putting one Sejuani at the top. Honestly, this could be a 2 Gnar, 2 Gangplank, 2 Sejuani type of deck, and that might be where it should be, but for right now, I'm sticking with that range. And then on the spell side, we just have pretty straightforward, make sure we damage the Nexus, have decent combat tricks, and have a little bit of removal. One cool thing here is the Monkey Idol, or yeah, the Monkey Idol will get consistent damage, but the Babbling Bird can get you consistent draws of either Gangplank or Sejuani. So that's kind of an interesting thing as well. I feel like when you have 3 Gangplank, it'll really favor Gangplank for Babbling Bird when you play him. So it's kind of a neat little option there to be able to consistently hit Gangplank. Now, if you'd rather hit Sejuani, you could just switch that ratio and have it as a 3-2. Or 3-1, I mean, for Sejuani. But like I said, it might be a 2-2-2 would be the way to go. Again, these decks are all going to be not tested out very much. Obviously, I haven't played them yet. The expansion is dropping tomorrow. Recording this on Tuesday, so I would encourage you guys to take these lists into the ladder, play a few games with it before you make a bunch of changes. But as you go, start making changes and really see what you think is necessary for the deck as you go. So this is the first deck. Pretty straightforward. Copied really a nice shell of a Sejuani Gangplank and just added a lot of new tools to it, trying to see if there's any viableness there for Gnar to fit in. Next up, I'm actually using 2 champions in one deck. That's how I'm getting away with only highlighting 3 decks here. This is Udyr and Galio. So both of these, I think, are some of the less hyped up champions. I think everyone really thinks Gnar is going to be really solid, and I think Yumi is going to be a weird one, but have a lot of heavy OTK type combos. But Galio and Udyr, I think, are a little bit more of a puzzle piece that needs to be figured out. So here, I actually found their synergy together somewhat desirable. The stances here are pretty interesting. So you have 4 different stances when you're using Udyr, and you're using, obviously, that stance mechanic that the Vulpine Wanderer and the Hyara Allseer both come with. The stances essentially have 3 different options. A +2/+2, which is pretty solid. A +0/+2 with regeneration. A +2/+0 with overwhelm. And then, of course, the damage everything randomly. This one isn't really going to be using that or the +2/+2. It's mainly going to focus on the regen and the overwhelm. So formidable units only attack or only strike with their health. So regeneration and adding 2 health to that is massive for formidable units. Galio included, but also the Petrocyte Broadwing, and of course Gorlith the Unscalable, if you get to that point in the game. But they're very, very important for that. Now, the other thing is, you kind of need an overwhelm to finish out the game with these massive units, right? Galio can get very big, but he's going to need overwhelm. So giving it to him with the stance of the Wild Claw, I believe it is nice. Now, the +2 attack won't affect him at that point. Now, the +2 attack, he's going to strike with his health anyway. So the +2 attack most likely won't affect him unless he has really low health. So you're going to want the regeneration on him most of the time. But that being said, if you do need that overwhelm, it's a nice final addition that you can add into that to be able to swing. There's a ton of really nice spells here as well. So one I want to highlight with the synergy of Formidable is Troll Chant. Troll Chant is absolutely insane with Formidable. So you can -2 attack from an opponent, then add 2 health to one of your units. But if it's a formidable unit, it's also like adding 2 damage to a power to that unit as well. So you can buff up your Petrocyte Broadwing. All of a sudden now it's a 5/5 technically, just with 1 Troll Chant. Save its health, get a really good strike off, hit something even higher than it has. I think that combo is disgusting. I think Troll Chant and Formidable is going to be one of the greatest things that comes out of this deck for sure. And the same goes for Elixir of Iron, right? On a formidable unit, Elixir of Iron is just a here's 2 health and also 2 attack for 1 mana. I think that's pretty insane. Obviously, Sharp Sight does the same thing. And you can always use your strike cards because this isn't formidable doesn't just work when attacking or defending. It's anytime they strike. So you can use concerted strike and single combat on these formidable units as well to get the damage through, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of just neat synergy here with boosting health and also at the same time actually boosting your damage. And I think it's really a fun deck that way. It'll be the same thing for the regeneration and +2 attack. That'll give them essentially a +2/+2 for the formidable units and regen. I think that's a synergy that I haven't seen explored a whole lot online yet. And I think it's one that I'm pretty proud of for just kind of thinking about right off the bat. I don't know if you're going to need two Gorliths in this deck. He's a pretty weird card. It's not like a meme deck where we're trying to just make Gorlith 100 health and switch him with our Nexus, but he's a really solid 9-drop that can actually save the game for you in a lot of ways. If you're losing consistent Nexus health because you don't have a whole lot of ways to get around like topside damage, right? Anything that's coming over the top or elusive units, we don't have a ton of answers for that stuff. So if we are losing health and we get down to low, on turn 9, we can instantly swap with when we summon this guy, which is huge because then we can bolster our Nexus health back up a little bit. And then, of course, Gorlith has the crazy ability of not being able to be blocked by certain units as you power him up. So using things to boost his health will also be a potential game finisher for this deck. Really excited about this one. I think it's pretty fresh and new, and I'm excited to try it out tomorrow. So the last deck, if you haven't guessed it, it's going to be with Yumi. We haven't highlighted her at all. So I've seen a lot of different Yumi decks going around. Excuse me. Plenty with Targon, plenty with Ionia. This, I'm splashing Ionia, but I'm actually just diving into Bandle City. Kind of makes me want to take a shower. I hate Bandle City so much, but I think this is a kind of fun deck and utilizes some pretty interesting strategies. So I'm using both the Bandle City Mare and the Gleaming Lantern to get extremely cheap units, and we're actually trying to level up Tristana. I think Tristana is a fun card who hasn't seen a whole lot of play, and I think she deserves a little bit more. So this deck is really just going all in on trying to level up Tristana and then use the attached units in the Papercraft Dragon and the Rainbow Fish to put pretty crazy keywords on either Tristana or Bandle Gunners. So imagine a stealth level Tristana or a double attack Tristana who's leveled with all that impact can start smashing the board. Same with the Bandle Gunners, can have crazy amounts of impact or just a big attack and get through damage with stealth or with double attack. I think those are both really two funny synergies. But you look at this deck and you don't have a whole lot of options for multi-region cards. We have a few, but not a ton. But that being said, we're going to be creating Alcats, right? The Grandfather Fae creates Alcats, Bandle Commando creates Alcats, and they're all going to be dual region cards that'll really help us level Tristana and pump up our Bandle Gunners as we go. And also get online the Buster Shot. So on the right side for the spells, we just have some pretty simple Ionia tricks. Twin Disciplines at 2 mana is still absurd, so we're going to use that. Notify is great. Might want a Deny or 2 in here at some point, but we're not really super worried about protecting like an entire board or anything like that. We really, or denying damage. We want to be pretty aggressive here, so we can kind of use our units as fodder and just try to push through a lot of damage. And then on top of that, I'm trying out this new Face Sprout. That card very well might get cut, and then just a little bit of removal. For units, we have a bunch of discounted things, like I said, with Gleaming and Bandle, and we have a lot of cards that are going to create more value, which is really great. Bandle City Mare, of course, creates value. Looping Telescope creates value. Grandfather Fae creates an Alcat. Bandle Commando creates an Alcat, and all that just keeps going. We don't have a ton of units that we're really like trying to attach everything to. That's why we're not really running that much attach, right? We're running 2 Yumi, 2 Rainbow Fish, 2 Papercraft Dragon. Our main targets for trying to attach are actually the Bandle Commando with stealth already. She already has stealth, so you can give her some plus damage. That's really great, and keep creating those Alcats, which will get a lot of damage through. And on top of that, obviously we want to attach things to Tristana and the Bandle Gunners. Like I said, guys, all 3 of these decks are going to require a good bit of play testing. These are rough copies of just decks that I haven't even played yet because the set's not out, but I've just put out, and it's where I'm going to start on day 1 with all 3 of these and see if there's any other synergies I can find as I go. If you guys like this video, make sure to subscribe. I'll be putting out plenty more. We have podcasts that comes out occasionally. We got videos coming out here, plenty of articles over at Runeterra CCG. So if you're enjoying the content, leave a like, leave a subscription. It won't kill you. Appreciate it. Till next time.